This is Hard Parking, brought to you by Wright Honda and Wright Toyota out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I am your host, Jhae Pfenning. Back in the studio. That's right. Had a good time. We had a great time in Toronto. Did not come back unscathed. Came back sick. Remember the last episode I was talking about how, the United States kind of, for U.S. nationals dropped the negative test. Wife got sick. Wife got sick the last weekend we were there. And I knew it, man. We were riding our bikes on Saturday. And she was like way behind me. Like, slow down. Or when she was in front, I'd be like, dang, can you hurry up? And it's not like I was in a rush, but I mean, you like to, riding a bike is like when you're driving on the highway, you just drive a comfortable speed. The flow of traffic. And she was slow. Now, these bikes that we rented, I'll get into all that in a second. Anyway, so she got sick and I knew it. We were pretty good. I started getting a little sick, but I figured it's allergies because, as you know, your boy's been sick like all year. Not valley fever, not in Canada. So I didn't think much of it. I mean, a part of me was like, maybe, but again, my history this year. But I knew with her, I was like, man, she has it. And if we have to take a test, her ass is staying in Canada. But it sucks for her because with her job, they're not allowed to log in international. She's in the financial business. With me, I was there for work. So I had my laptop. I could have worked. In fact, I kind of did. But got back. Was feeling all right. Coughing. Not too bad. Tuesday, though, man. Tuesday, it hit me hard. Tuesday, I was like, I was freezing. I said, babe, is it cold in here? She goes, no, it's just you. I go, it's freaking freezing. My knees hurt. My ankles hurt. Man, I knew it. Sure enough, woke up, I had 2 negative tests. Wednesday morning, I woke up and said, all right, I have the sniffles. My nose is ripe. Let me go ahead and swab myself. And, of course, those tests say, like, give it 15 minutes. But those of you who have been positive, those of you who have been around people that are positive, within 30 seconds of administering that test and watching that little weird moisture meter rise. So it's been a rough week. I'm coughing a lot again. Throat's always irritated. On the Flonase. Not that that helps with the COVID. Got some water right here and ready to go. I'm going to get into the vacation and a few other things. Had some interesting customer service experiences that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about customer service in general. My life was customer service before cars, believe it or not. After this quick message from 4 Wheel Online, we'll get into it. Jhae Pfenning here, and I want to tell you guys about 4 Wheel Online. For over a decade, 4 Wheel Online has been bringing the best truck accessories and truck parts to enhance the appearance and performance of all trucks and SUVs. They are dedicated to providing an extensive range of upgrades that will match any maker model on the road. The truck products cover everything you need to give your truck a custom look and added functionality. And if you need a tire and wheel package, head over and use the configuration tool. They carry all the major brands of wheels and tires, so go get outfitted today. So visit them online at 4Wheel Online or call them at 813-769-2451. Again, that's 4Wheel Online, the number 4 Wheel Online. Okay, so let's talk about the actual trip. We do this thing, Marriott, I got points. We don't use the points, but I have status. And I usually book through Marriott because, unlike a lot of the other hotels, I still have my status there. I've lost my American Airlines status. I don't have Delta status. I don't have any other status really, but my car rental status and like Marriott. And so typically what we do is we book and then my wife comes into town and she can check in, put her name on the reservation, except for she made the reservation this time through her job because she used my Marriott number, but she made the reservation because they got a much bigger discount. Hotels in Toronto are expensive, pretty expensive. So she makes the reservation and I get this call. I think I'm on the phone with my buddy. And my phone rings, and then she calls me like back to back, and I go, okay, let me let you go. She must need something. Maybe she's stuck at the hotel or something. So I give her a call back. She goes, these people won't let me in. I go, what do you mean they won't let you in? They won't let me check in because you're not here. said, well, she goes, did you put your name on the reservation? I go, well, no, I didn't. You're the one who made the reservation. Did you put your name on the reservation? But she was pretty distraught, and I go, I don't know. I'm driving. As soon as I get in, I'm almost at the hotel. I'll give the front desk a call. We'll figure it out. And she says, yeah, they say that you can't call him. Because I asked them. They said, can he call? She's like, no, your name's on the reservation. We can't help you. It's like, that's weird. Not a very good customer service experience. So I park the car, go inside the lobby. I give the hotel a call. This is the Westin Hotel, Harborfront, Toronto. Nice hotel. Very nice. Give the guy a call. He answers, just kind of explain, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm calling. My wife is there trying to check in. She just got into town. I won't be there until tomorrow. The guy's like, okay, what's your last 4 digits of the credit card on file? I'll give it to him. I think he asked me one other question because I didn't even have a confirmation number on me. He goes, okay, no problem, Mr. Pfenning. We'll go ahead and add her to the reservation. Tell her she could check in. It's like, oh, wow. So the person I talked to obviously wasn't the person she talked to. So I give her a call back, and I'm like, hey, I just called the front desk. They said you're good to go. You should be able to check in. She goes, okay, good. All right, that's fine. I just got something to eat. I'm at the bar. I was stressed out. I just couldn't handle it anymore. I go, okay, cool, whatever. So when you get done eating, you should be able to go and check in. Everything's good. She said, okay, fine. Everything's good. Don't hear anything. Next day, I leave work. I'm on my way out there. Get to the hotel. We have a great time. Like this weekend, first off, Toronto has this cool thing where they have this, and a lot of cities have this. I don't think we have it here in Phoenix, but they have bike stations like everywhere, not just on one long path. Like Chicago has the riverfront, and I have to believe if Chicago rents bikes, there's bike stations every whatever, or you rent a bike for the whole day. But the way Toronto has it, and again, there are probably other cities like this. I don't know. Again, we don't have it here, but they have these bike stations, and most of them are digital. So you sign up. It's almost like renting a scooter type of deal. So you sign up and you could pay for like a monthly subscription or whatnot. But their setup was $7 a bike, unlimited 30-minute trips for 24/7. Like 30-minute trips, what does that even mean? So we ended up getting 2 bikes. First off, my wife's like, I rode a bike. That's what I did all day yesterday, the day after she, the day she couldn't, check in or whatever. Or after she checked in, sorry. She goes, I rode a bike all day, and she did all this really cool shit. She goes, what about, let's get bikes. I go, I don't like bikes. Finally, she's like, what is it with you and bikes? I go, look, here's the deal. I don't like renting bikes in cities I don't know. I don't like riding them in and out of traffic. You got to keep your head on a swivel. No one's looking for you. You got to look for them. And then there's the elevation changes in a lot of cities, and it's just tiring. I mean, come on. When we went to Key West, you guys remember that a few months ago? Actually, the first time I got sick this year, and I haven't not been sick since. Yeah, that Key West, we rode far, single speed bike, sweating our ass off. She works out. I don't work out. I spent most of my time trying to catch up to her. Fuck that. This time around, the bikes were different. $7. Unlimited rides, 24 hours, 30-minute intervals. So what that means is you have 30 minutes to get that bike to the next bike station. And then you can rack it, take your little scanner, unlock another bike, and go about your business. But it sounds inconvenient, but it's really not, because most of the places you park a bike, like you ride, it's like an Uber, right? You ride the Uber to your destination, and the car doesn't wait for you. Somebody else calls Uber and uses the car. So after she convinced me to do this, the first day we did it, and we didn't do the app or nothing. I just used the credit card, had a little receipt that printed out. The instructions weren't that clear. Unlock the bike. They give you like a little bike code. It's like a little, I don't know, like a four key. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And so it's to unlock the bike, it might be like 2, 2, 3, 1 or something like that. So we unlock the bikes, ride around, and we go to like Graffiti Alley, and we just go to a bunch of really cool districts in Toronto. What happens is when we drop the first bike off, when we walked around for a couple hours. It was Kensington Street. which is super cool. It's like Jamaican stuff and just all sorts of things. When we got back to the bikes, we couldn't unlock them. And then that bike station wasn't a digital station. I couldn't figure out how to do this. I was like, well, shit, I could either pay $7 more per bike, which, $7 rent, it's not bad. We got the money. But I ended up calling the number. I told the guy, he asked me for my phone number. I gave it to him. He asked me to confirm the last four, and then he gave me like a couple of passes to unlock the bike. So we unlocked the bikes, and we're riding around and stuff like that. But eventually, we ended up just buying on the phone and downloading the app. Completely different game. With that, you just scan the code on the bike, just like you do a rental scooter, like those little, like the bird scooters, which I haven't seen in a long time. Did they go belly up with the pandemic era? I wonder if they went belly up. I've seen a lot of other things, just not those. But we took them everywhere. It was cool. Had some dim sum, went to a distillery, went to a beach. So my wife had this thing. She goes, I want to go to the beach. I go, okay. There's a beach like right there. I said, all right. So we ride our bikes to this, and we're like almost there. And there's this giant boat, like a frigate that's parked like right there. And I look, and this beach is kind of it's on the corner of the water, but it's not really a beach. It's like a giant sandbox. It looks like a beach in the photos. But when you hear beach, you're thinking you can go from the sand to the water. Not this one. You can go from the sand to the landscaping timbers. If you want to get in the water, it's about a 6-foot drop to the water. But then good luck finding a place to get out of the water. So I made fun of her for that one for a while. But yeah, we biked around everywhere. We had really good food. So here's the deal. So she's getting sick as the weekend progresses. It's Father's Day weekend. She's feeling bad. Oh, sorry, I'm sick on Father's Day. Not like you planned this. We're good. So we're supposed to leave Sunday night. Sunday at like 5 something in the afternoon. We took the latest flight out of there because we don't like having to get up super early and catching the flight. Hindsight, we probably should have picked an earlier flight. Flight ends up getting delayed 2 or 3 hours. We realize we're going to miss our connecting flight in Salt Lake. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, do you want to leave Toronto knowing you're going to miss your flight in Salt Lake? So then all the stuff you checked on, you probably have to get a hotel outside of Salt Lake, the airport, check back in the morning because we're looking at other flights and like, well, we got flights early in the morning at like 6 o'clock. And we're like, nah, not really. We don't want to do that. If we're going to do that, then we're just going to stay overnight in Toronto one more time and we're going to leave tomorrow morning. So I ended up picking a hotel, the Sheraton, super nice. Sheraton at the Toronto Pearson Airport. It's literally stuck to the airport, like right there. Like as soon as you get out of the hotel doors. So it's got the second floor and the first floor. The first floor is to the street. The second floor, which is where we were staying, which is the main lobby, goes directly to the gates. You walk out the double doors, you take the escalator down, and you are at ticketing. Like you never go outside. It's like a 50-foot walk. It's crazy. The problem is the flight's at 6:15 in the morning. So we're thinking, okay, well, shit. How nuts could it be? So we set our alarm for like 4:15 a.m., which fucking sucked. You get down there about 4:40, lines long as shit. Lines not moving, and they're long. So finally, when the line finally moves, we get to the front. Well, it's too late. You can't actually check your bag on. They didn't tell us they were boarding, but they were already boarding. Plus, there was about 300 deep in security. So now it's like, shit, okay. This is shitty. What else do we have that's going to Phoenix today? Mind you guys, this was 6:15 in the morning. The lady looked it up. She goes, nothing. We can get you out on Tuesday. So that means one more night in Toronto. We can stay another night at the airport. $400 a night. I was like, all right, we're not going to be those people who stand there at the ticketing counter while there's 500 people in line behind you and you just stand there because you're trying to figure it out and you want the person in front of you to figure it out instead of, getting the hell out of the way and letting the next person go so that they can check their shit on and get back and, and get on their flight. So I was like, all right, well, this is still like 6:15 in the morning. We'll just get a late checkout. So stop by the front desk. Thank God for my status. The late checkout is 4 p.m. Would have been happy with 12, I think, but 4 p.m. So we just chill. We're having breakfast after work. I log in, and we start looking for flights. No other flights that day. Sold out. No other flights from Delta. Find a flight on American. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's book this American Airlines flight. 4 o'clock. They got seats. Booking it now. Guaranteed. We'll chill. Then we'll go down there around 2:30 because we want to be early based on the bullshit we just went through. So we're hanging out. End up going down there. She's getting more sick. I'm looking at her. She's coughing. I'm like, look, you better cut that shit out. We got to get you some medicine. We got to get you something. Because these people, they will rat you out. They're going to look at you side-eyed, and then I'm going to have to step away from you so they don't think we're together. Well, I don't want to get arrested. These Canadians are crazy behind this COVID shit. Wear a mask. So anyway, we check out. We go down there. Plenty of time. Nobody. Nobody in ticketing. Nobody in security. Nobody. We were through, like, I bullshit you not. We checked in our bag, and we were through security within 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We didn't move 3 feet. We didn't move 1 foot in 10 minutes that morning. So we get to security. American Airlines flight is delayed. Oh, are you shitting me? Flight was delayed. Over an hour. Go to the duty-free shop. Get our stuff. Of course. Liquor and stuff like that for people. And now it's at the point where we're sitting there in the gate. Oldest gate ever, by the way. There's nothing to do. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. It's like a mile walk if you want to get anything other than a cup of coffee. Start getting notifications from American Airlines. You may miss your connecting flight in DFW. Now it's like, shit. Started looking for other flights. Nothing. No other flights to Phoenix on American Airlines until Tuesday from Toronto. We get more and more and more notifications. So now we have to make a decision. Now I'm like, shit. If we go to DFW and we have this duty-free bag, are we going to be screwed? Because if we have to spend the night in Dallas-Fort Worth, because Dallas-Fort Worth doesn't have any more flights to Phoenix after the connecting flight that we might miss, that means we have to leave the airport, and now I have 2 bottles of Glenfiddich. Now we got to figure out what to do with them. Stuff them in something? Because once I leave the airport, I can't bring them back on. Bring them back in the airport, they're going to make me pour them out. My friend Yoshi bought me a bottle of something, and once he got to Seattle, they made him pour it out because wherever he bought it from originally, I think the Philippines didn't put like that special duty-free wrap on there. I didn't want that to happen. So I found a flight first thing in the morning on Tuesday. Mind you, this is Monday night. We've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:15 in the morning. We're tired. Wife is sick. I'm starting to get sick, but I've been like kind of fucking with being sick the whole time I was in Canada. So I really wasn't worried about it. I end up confirming on the next morning flight because with delays, it looked like we were going to board. Like by the time we got off the flight, the other connecting flight would have been already in the air. And it says we're supposed to originally be 2 gates away when we landed. I was like, oh, if we land, maybe we can run and we can get to the gate. But then they say, well, your flight is going to land in C. Originally, it was going to be B. And I'm like, shit, from B to C at DFW is like 6 miles. It's far. Like you have to go on a train. You're crossing the highway, like 12-lane highway. Like it's far. So now I'm like, shit, I'm not panicking, but I'm like, God, I got to make a decision. Ask my wife, make a decision. So I booked that flight. We board the plane over an hour late. And I tell the pilot and the flight attendant, I said, hey, I'll buy you a stick of gum or I'll give you something if we get there on time. I was lying. It's just something you say. They said, well, we're going to try. Dude flies. We land fast. So now we're like, holy shit, we have time. We don't have anything. I have my backpack. My wife has like 1 carry-on, but no rollerboards because we checked our shit. And actually we landed on C. Like everything changed. It's like we were still 2 gates away from the departing flight. So we walked past them. First off, I had to pee like really bad, and I didn't dare stop. I didn't want to risk it. We get there to the counter. They just started boarding. We're like, holy shit, yes. We go up to the counter. We wait. There's a girl scanning boarding passes. She's the only one there. We go, look, I'm sorry to bother you. We just came off a flight from Toronto. We were originally supposed to be on this flight, but I booked for tomorrow morning thinking we were going to miss this flight. And she goes, I'll take care of it. We're like, for real? You can get us on here? She goes, yep, I should be able to get you on here. We're like, fucking badass. You are awesome. You're the best. This was in boarding group 1. By the time she got doing everything because the computer didn't work, I screwed that up because I booked us on the next morning flight. And of course, my wife's like, you shouldn't have hurried up and you shouldn't have just booked yourself. You should have just waited. Like, what do you mean? We were up at 4:00 that morning and there were 4 flights leaving to Phoenix the same day. And by the time we got through to the counter at 6:15, every other flight was sold out. Fuck no, I'm not waiting. I'm booking that shit because we were already late. We're lucky to even got the airport on time to begin with. So by the time she got our paperwork done, we got our original seats back because we were about to be like 37D or some shit. We were the last ones to board the plane, but we got on. And that girl from American Airlines, she fucking busted her ass and she's awesome. That was a good customer service experience. So we get home, I'm looking at the bill from the Westin. I was like, what is this? What is this other fee? Like, what is this? Like $150. I didn't charge $150. I'm going to call him like, huh? I said, babe, what is this? She goes, oh, I was stressed out when they wouldn't let me get in under the reservation. So I went to the bar and bought a bottle of wine. My wife was so stressed out at the hotel, an expensive hotel. She went and bought a bottle of wine, hotel prices at the bar. Drank it all too. Jesus. I said, oh, okay. Now, had that been me, I don't even need to finish that thought. But what I do need is some water. So I'm going to grab this drink of water and you're going to listen to this Anchor commercial. Like, seriously, if you guys want to do a podcast, you want to figure out how to do this stuff, just listen to this commercial or hit that, forward 30-second mark until you hear my voice again. Forgot to mention Toronto is windy as shit. I don't know if it's normal, but Toronto was windy. Super windy. Before I forget, there are more Hard Parking Podcast t-shirts. They're very nice quality shirts. You can get it for $25 shipped. 100% of the proceeds goes to help grant a local child's wish. That is by Right Honda and Right Toyota, the official title sponsors of this podcast. If you want to figure it out, if you want to learn more, hardparkingpodcast@gmail.com. If you are international, I can't sell them to you for $25 ship because it's going to cost $25 to ship them to you. But I can still sell it to you. It's going to go to a good cause, and you get to advertise for me. I'll throw in some stickers. You could spread them all over the town, like I said on the last episode. So I'm back at home. As you guys know, Actually, you don't know. Some of you don't. You guys just don't know what I do for work. I think I've talked about it before, but anyway, I started a new contract. Going as I'm wrapping up the one that's in Toronto or Hamilton. I'm starting a new contract for a dumpster fire in Boston. It's supposed to start Monday, but it was supposed to start Tuesday. So I call. I'm talking to them and. I don't have my access yet. This is normal. It takes like a week to get provision and everything. So I get an email from the director and it's like, hey, this is your login, your credentials, all that kind of stuff, your Citrix, blah, blah, blah. So I call the service desk because I can't get in. I do everything that the email tells me to do and I still can't get in. Call the service desk, get this one girl and start giving her my name and information and the phone disconnects. AKA she probably hangs up. I call back, get some other guy. Start telling him the information, and the dude starts cutting me off. He's like, who are you? I go, I'm a contractor. I'm starting, I work on the Epic project. I have all my credentials here. I can, whatever, tell me what you need from me and I can give it to you, but I can't get through Citrix. I can't get through online. I can't get through anything, essentially. And then he tells me the reason why I can't get in is because I'm not certified or I have to go through their. He goes, have you gone through our training? I was like, training? Yeah, you have to go through our training in order to get into our system. I said, no, I can't even log into your system. He goes, yeah, you have to go through training. Are you Epic? I go, well, I'm Epic certified. Doesn't matter if you're Epic certified or not. You have to be certified in our Epic. Have you gone through our Epic training? No, I can't. I can't even get into Citrix. I have to get into Citrix first. Like, I can't even log into my Outlook. Here's my username. He goes, what's your username? What's your password? I was like, I don't think I need to give you my password. I can give you my username. I have multiple usernames and my email address, basically everything you guys gave me. And he's just super militant, keeps cutting me off. I go, I'm just appalled. I'm like, what the fuck? The fuck is this motherfucker? Like, I must be like the 10th person that's called that just doesn't know anything. Maybe. But I was like, look, I go, what? I'm sorry, who am I speaking with? He goes, Jhae. I go, Jhae, how do you spell that? C-H-C-H-E. C-H-E, okay. Pause for a second. Okay, Jhae. I am on the Epic IT team. I'm IT. I'm not a clinical user. I'm IT, like you. I'm on the Epic implementation support team. So I work in Epic. My director is blah, blah, blah. I was given this information. I need to log in. I can give you my manager's name if you need it to add to the ticket. And he starts slowly changing his tone, and he gets my information. And what's your computer name? I don't have a computer name. I'm remote. I'm remote too, and I have a computer name. What's your computer name? So this is a personal device. Personal device? Yeah, it's personal device. Fuck. Finally get this shit, get my ticket number and incident number, and I'm like, I'm going to find him. I'm going to find him in the system once I get in. Jhae's coming for you, Jhae. Oh, man, I wish I was a director or something. His ass would be grass. His ass would be Arizona grass in the summer that hasn't been watered in 3 weeks. Dry as fuck. And burning. That's what it'd be. But there's certain ways to handle people. I mean, what has this world gone to? Either you can be the awesome American Airlines lady at the counter. First off, and I've talked about this, but it's been a couple years. First off, can we stop getting mad at the people at the airport and the people who work for the airlines? I heard that they're down 10,000 pilots across the United States. Can you imagine how many flights that is a day? Because everyone's flight's getting delayed or canceled. And it's just, flying is a risk. It is a freaking risk. And never book a flight. Make sure it's not the last flight of the day. I don't care how much time you want to have before you do it. Just don't do it. Unless you can afford to possibly be delayed a day or two. It's not the first time this has happened to us in the pandemic era. We had a flight in Florida, actually. We flew JetBlue. Last time we were ever going to fly JetBlue. They just decided to cancel the flight. We were stuck in there for 2 days because they didn't have another flight for 2 fucking days. But guess who had to use all their Hilton points on 2 very nice suites at a very nice resort? This guy. So every time I think about that, I think about all my precious points that I worked so hard to gain. Bye-bye. But what happened to customer service? I bet everybody listening to this has some sort of a weird, funky customer service experience. And I feel like it's even worse with the pandemic. It's nuts. By the way, I turned the Explorer in, and my wife yelled at me for that when we were in Toronto. What? I can't believe we wasted hours doing this. We don't even need a car. It's like, look, I don't know. Man, like I said, the last time we were in Toronto, it was 2004. We didn't have, let me slow down. Here's the deal. And I've said this on the last episode. I'm going to say it again with a little more detail. We haven't been to Toronto in a long time. We don't really remember much about it. We remember going to the CN Tower. We remember going to the zoo. And we remember going to Castle Loma. I think I said that right. But we were talking about it this last weekend. It's like, where did we stay? We couldn't remember. Where did we eat? We couldn't remember. I couldn't remember one meal from the last time we were in Toronto together. And she couldn't either. And I think it's really weird. But man, we're in a completely different tax bracket. Like we had just got married. We, like most people, when they just get married, you don't have anything. And it's almost, it's 19 years ago. And we're not rich, but we sure as hell aren't poor. I think we were probably lower middle class at that time. Barely. And now I think we're categorized as kind of upper middle class. And there's a big difference between lower and upper middle class. Upper middle class tells you can go to the West End. Upper middle class says you can book a Sheraton at the airport without, we could have gotten in a hotel a lot cheaper, but not at 6:15 in the morning. The Toronto airport is huge. We would have had to go. We might as well have not even gone to bed. If we would have booked one of the hotels that are a mile down the road, there's no way. There's no way. From the things that we drink, when we're deciding where we want to go to eat, and we had a hot dog cart, which, by the way, contact tracing, I think that's where my wife gave me Rona. We bought a hot dog, $5 Canadian, right in front of the hotel. I remember. I took a bite, she took a bite. I took a bite, she took a bite. Everybody's sick 3 days later. God damn it. But yeah, we ate. We could eat wherever we want to eat within reason. I mean, we don't have $500 meals. That's ridiculous. I draw the line at 400. But no, we when we go out and eat, especially on vacation, it's not uncommon for us to spend $180 to $250 on a single, dinner. It's not breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But it took a long time to get to that point, and it's funny that you can go to the same city 18 years apart and not remember hardly anything. But yeah, what happened to customer service? I grew up in customer service. I've had face-to-face over the phone. I've done repos. I've done bouncing, security manager. Conflict resolution is one of those things. Sometimes I can't even do it in my own house, but I think it's a skill. But, I don't know. You guys have a bad customer service experience story? Let me know. HardParkingPodcast@gmail.com. Maybe we should talk about some cars, maybe. Speaking of cars, got some big news. Don't want to jinx it. Maybe we'll talk about it next week on next week's episode. I hope if I do have an episode next week, I need a break. I haven't taken a week off in a long time. But there's a big news. And I don't think I can afford to take a week off. But I will be in South Carolina next weekend when the next episode drops. Going to try to record it between this episode and the next couple of days because I'm leaving town Wednesday. This is Monday. You guys are listening to this, hopefully. Numbers are down a little bit. You guys need to spread the word. Let's get into car news. Stealing this from Motor Biscuit. The headline kind of caught me here. High gas prices. Is it cheaper to ride a horse than drive a car? It's interesting, the photo they use here. It's a horse and a 2022 Ford Explorer. The car I rented for 2.5 weeks when I was in Canada. There's a site called Heels Down. They did a cost breakdown to determine what's more expensive to own, a horse or a car. For the cost ownership breakdown, Heels Down compared the average yearly cost of driving a car versus the annual average cost of riding a horse. The site, based on data from KRQE News, stated that on average, the average yearly expense for driving a car included $5,000 for gas and $1,000 for insurance. For maintenance, the average annual cost is $1,000, so that's $7,000. For the annual cost of riding a horse, Heels Down was more thorough. It listed 4 primary expenses: boarding, health costs, sales price, and tack equipment. For boarding a horse, the average cost is $500 to $2,000. The variance is due to the level of fanciness that you want for the boarding, as well as how much drought and gas are affecting hay prices any given month. In its analysis, KRQE News stated that it will cost an average of $3,000 to buy a horse. Does it? That's it? That's all horses are, is $3,000? Like, aren't dogs like $3,000? Like, I think if you bought a brand new Frenchie, I think it's like $2,000. Alex, how much does a brand new Frenchie cost? I think a Yorkie was like $1,500. Not Izzy, he was like $300. Seriously. Years ago. 13.5, but still. $3,000? Like, what kind of horse are you going to get for $3,000 if you can buy a dog for $1,500? The site stated that averaging $3,000 off track, no training thoroughbred from 5 years ago is now $12,000. Okay. All right. Now we're talking $12,000 for a horse. Let's skip down to the end of this. This isn't interesting anymore. Okay, here we go. So when you add everything up, it's cheaper to drive a car than ride a horse, even with the high gas prices. Based on the data from KRQE News, the average annual cost of driving a car is $7,000, while the yearly cost of riding a horse is $10,000. So it looks like they threw away acquisition price because that's all over the place. Like, are we talking a little egg Toyota Yaris versus an Arabian Thoroughbred? Probably. I don't know if you guys saw the video. I saw this. There's a video of a Corvette C8 driving through flooded Florida street like a submarine. Like, this thing is probably 6/8 underwater, and the thing just keeps on moving. How does it keep on moving? Well, first off, the water doesn't get sucked into the intake yet. But as far as you think it'd come up with the exhaust, but no, the exhaust has back pressure. So as long as the vehicle is on and you're still moving, then the water does not have a chance to go up the exhaust pipe. Cristiano Ronaldo crashed his $2 million Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport in Spain. And finally, the world's most expensive car sells for $143 million, Mercedes 300 SLR. Take a look at this. This was an ultra-rare 1955 Mercedes Uhlenhaut Coupe. I don't know. It's a racing prototype, one of just two in the world, sold for $143 million in an invite-only auction conducted by RM Sotheby's at the Mercedes-Benz Museum in Stuttgart. Wow. This topped the previous record of a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO that fetched over $48 million in 2018. $48 million to $143 million. This almost topped the Ferrari by $100 million. Think about that. A car. Like $90-something million more than the previous record. More. Not 90 million, 90 million more. That's insane. And that is the car news. Want to thank Right Honda and Right Toyota at Scottsdale, Arizona, 4wheelonline.com, self-shop wireless services, and Fountain Hills Motorsports. Patreon business supporter Korea Automotive out of Winter Garden, Florida, and Pell Construction out of Caledonia, Michigan. If you're in a position to help the podcast upgrade, join the Patreon for as low as $3 a month to get access to bonus audio as well as show swag. Speaking of show swag, I just sent out a bunch of stickers, like high-quality stickers. People got keychains, coasters. I love the coasters. Again, we have the T-shirts, HardParkingPodcast@gmail.com. If you want to see them, join the Hard Parking Violations Facebook group, and you can see those, or just, I don't know, hit me up, or just, I don't know what to say. Special thanks to Mark Stoneman, Catherine Cox, Eddie Ramos, Richard Graves, Byron Jones, Bo Jung, Alice Camina, and Drew Bunkley for being patrons. Follow me on Instagram at Jhae Pfenning, that's JhaePfenning, or Jhae Travels, JHE_Travels. I'm almost done with the Ford Explorer video. This would have been the first time I could complete a video within a week of talking about it or renting it. The problem is my Adobe Premiere Pro took a shit on me a few times and started having all these weird issues, and it's not making me very happy right now. Again, I got some potential big news coming. By the time the next episode comes out, hopefully I'll be able to share it. Spread the word on this podcast, though. If you really like it, tell people, hey, you know what? You should try out. There's a podcast to listen to called Hard Parking with Jhae Pfenning. The guy's great. He's awesome. And he's funny. He does shit a little differently. And I think you're going to enjoy it. I enjoy it. Can't live without it. Check it out. Tell him I sent you. Maybe he'll send you something. HardParkingPodcast@gmail.com. But seriously, folks, I can't grow that. You're telling the world how good this show is. So let's do this. Let's grow this thing together. Talk to you all next week. I am happy to be home, even though I'm turning around and leaving again.
A beater.
Shut up!